Have you ever wondered what it would be like to step inside a house so haunted that even the locals in Massachusetts avoid it at night? If you live in the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, or Australia, and you think you've seen real horror, think again. Tonight, I'm taking you inside one of the most terrifying Victorian manors ever recorded. A house full of shadows, whispers, and secrets that have trapped visitors for over a century. Welcome to Dark Hour Tales, where the horror is real and the fear is universal. The Victorian manor in Massachusetts stood isolated on a hilltop, surrounded by twisted oak trees and a dense, eerie fog. Its windows were tall and broken in places, letting in faint, unnatural light that flickered across the walls. Locals called it the Whitmore Manor, but nobody dared speak of it openly. They whispered that anyone who stayed inside after sunset never left the same, or sometimes never left at all. Our story begins with Emily and James, a young couple from Boston who were fascinated by haunted locations. While most thrill-seekers avoided the manor, they couldn't resist its notorious reputation. With flashlights, cameras, and a sense of daring, they decided to uncover the truth. As they approached the creaking iron gate, the wind seemed to carry voices, faint whispers of past inhabitants warning them to stay away. Emily shivered. "James, are you sure about this?" she asked, gripping his arm. James forced a laugh. "Don't tell me you're scared. This is what we came for. Real horror right here in Massachusetts." The front door, massive and ornate, groaned as they pushed it open. Inside, the air was thick with the smell of mold and old wood. Every step on the wooden floorboards echoed through the manor as if announcing their presence to something unseen. Shadows danced on the walls, stretching unnaturally in the dim flashlight glow. Emily noticed a dusty journal lying on a grand table in the foyer. Its leather cover was cracked, and the pages were yellowed with age. She flipped it open, and the handwriting inside was shaky but readable. The journal chronicled strange occurrences: doors that slammed on their own, whispers in empty rooms, furniture moving when no one was there. The last entry sent chills down their spines. "I am not alone tonight. They are watching. If you are reading this, the manor is already claiming you." Suddenly, a loud thump echoed from the upper floor. Emily screamed. James shined his flashlight toward the staircase. Nothing. Then the thump came again, louder, closer. It was coming from the master bedroom, the heart of the manor's darkest secrets. The couple exchanged terrified glances, their curiosity battling with a growing sense of dread. The air seemed to grow colder with each step they took toward the stairs. Somewhere deep inside, a voice whispered just loud enough for them to hear, "Leave, before it's too late." Emily and James froze. This was the moment where adventure met terror, the point where legends became real, and where the haunted Victorian manor in Massachusetts began to reveal its true nature. Emily and James stood frozen at the foot of the staircase. The cold air inside the manor felt unnatural, almost alive, wrapping around them like invisible hands. Suddenly, a whisper echoed through the hall, soft but chilling. "You shouldn't be here." James fumbled with his flashlight. When it flickered back on, they could see the long, narrow hallway stretching ahead, lined with old portraits. Each painting seemed to watch them, the eyes following their every move. A creaking sound came from upstairs. Emily clutched James's arm. "James, I think we should leave," she whispered, her voice trembling. "No," he said softly. "We need to see this through. We came for the truth." They ascended the staircase slowly. With each step, the floorboards groaned beneath their feet, echoing through the silent manor. When they reached the master bedroom, the door that had been slightly ajar slammed shut violently. The sound rattled their very bones. Inside, the room was colder than anything they had felt outside. Their breath formed small clouds as they exhaled. The furniture seemed untouched, but something was moving. The rocking chair in the corner swayed slowly on its own, back and forth, as if counting time. Emily noticed the journal they had found earlier. Pages were flipping rapidly as if blown by an invisible wind. On one page, scrawled in a shaky hand, was a chilling note. "They come closer every night. Shadows that move on their own. Voices that call my name. If you read this, you are next." A gust of cold air slammed the window shut, extinguishing the flashlight beam. Darkness enveloped them. In the corner of the room, shadows twisted and stretched into distorted human shapes, some impossibly tall, with glowing eyes that seemed to pierce the darkness. The whispers grew louder, overlapping, forming a deafening chorus that surrounded them entirely. "Leave or join us!" Emily screamed. James grabbed her hand. They turned to run, but the hallway outside had changed. It stretched endlessly, doors disappearing and walls pulsating like a living entity. The house itself seemed to move, guiding them deeper into its twisted maze. A sudden cold touch brushed Emily's neck. She spun around nothing. Only the journal lay open on the floor, the words now repeating over and over. "They are here, always watching, always waiting." The camera they had brought flickered with static. Through the distorted image, faint, ghostly figures moved in the background. Were they real or imagined? James whispered, barely audible, "We need to find the exit." But the house was no longer the one they had entered. It had become a living nightmare, pulsating shadows, whispers, and cold air closing in from all sides. Every step they took seemed to pull them deeper into the manor's grip, as if the house had claimed them already. And in that moment, Emily and James realized the haunted Victorian manor wasn't just a building, it was alive and it was hunting. Emily and James sprinted down the dark hallway, their hearts pounding. Every door they tried slammed shut before they could reach it, as if the house itself was alive. The shadowy figures twisted and contorted, glowing eyes following their every movement, while a cold, unnatural wind swept through the manor. Emily gasped, trembling. We're trapped." James grabbed the journal they had found earlier, flipping to the last entry. He read aloud, his voice shaking, "This house feeds on fear. Only by facing the truth can you escape. But very few ever do." Suddenly, a heavy wooden door appeared at the end of the hallway. A soft, warm light spilled out from behind it. They ran toward it, desperation giving them strength, but an invisible force slammed them to the floor. A chorus of whispers filled the air. "Stay, forever." Then, a blinding light erupted, flooding the entire hallway. The shadows dissolved, vanishing into nothingness. Emily and James found themselves standing outside the Whitmore Manor. On a foggy Massachusetts hilltop, the first rays of dawn breaking across the horizon. They were alive but forever changed by what they had witnessed. Emily whispered, still shaking, Did we really make it out?" James could only nod. The manor stood silently behind them, hiding its secrets, waiting for the next curious souls to enter. If this spine-chilling journey gave you goosebumps, don't forget to subscribe to Dark Hour Tales for weekly horror stories from around the world. Like this video if it sent shivers down your spine. Share it with friends, especially in the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia, who love real paranormal encounters and cinematic horror. Our stories are crafted specifically for Western audiences, bringing true terror and eerie suspense straight to your screens. In our next episode, we'll take you deep into an abandoned motel in the Nevada desert, where travelers have mysteriously vanished, and shadows seem to watch every step you take. Remember, not all stories end when you leave. Some shadows follow you home.